Hello, episode 104, ready to go. Countdown to restoration, counting down the dark days of the evil Biden regime. Yeah, somebody's got to do it. Many are. I don't think anybody's doing it much better anyway. Should share the episode with your friends. Tell them it's worth watching. Yeah. As we talk about, and we have so much of it today. I'm trying to at least act like I'm happy. I'm deeply saddened inside for what I have to bring you today. As we put up with the thief in chief. Yeah, the thief in chief. Yeah, hey, one more time. Thief in chief. Yeah, he loves it. Yeah, okay, that's enough. All right. So we've got a lot to do today. Episode 104 coming right at you. And of course, we're always starting with this person. Start.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Rachel Levine.
Yeah, poster child for the Biden regime. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a new little clip for you today. The incomparable Petula Clark, one of my favorite 60s singers. Little ode to Dr. Rachel here.
The buildings reach up to the sky. The traffic thunders on the busy street. The pavement slips beneath my feet. I walk alone and wonder, who am I?
Yes, he walks along and wonders who he is. I'm guessing. I would. Am I still Richard sometimes? Or am I finally just all Rachel? Yeah, I wonder if the Biden regime people ever wonder that. Who is this person? Well, one of the things making the good doc happy, Marvel Studios has its first official LGBTQIA plus superhero, or supervillain as the story goes on to say, in a show on Disney Plus. The character kind of admits to being bisexual or something. So yay. Competitive fairness. NCAA champion transgender hurdler ruled ineligible for U.S. Olympic trials. Just a bit too much on the testosterone there to even pretend to be a woman. CC Telfer, a transgender woman, a man pretending to be a woman, who, isn't this just ridiculous? I know I get stuck on this. This is why we do this. He's a man. He's a man. He's a man. This one's a man. They're just pretending. Can we stop this? I would bang my head on the table, but it would hurt too much. It's just, You do not have to test real women for testosterone. CC Telfer, a transgender woman who won an NCAA Division II, championship in 2019, was ruled ineligible Wednesday to compete in the U.S. Olympic trials. USA Track and Field said in a statement, Telfer failed to meet the world athletic requirements to be eligible for trials. She had initially been on the list for Friday's opening heats, but an updated list Wednesday did not include his name, not her name. Just a little too much testosterone to even pretend there. CC. I know, I miss it. Well, I said, CC Ryder. Oh, see what you have done. Yeah, been busy. I miss that one. I can kick myself because I love that song. FAA committee recommends shifting to gender-neutral language. Again, the good doctor will like that. Right, gender-neutral language. This is for the drone people. An advisory committee said Wednesday that the Federal Aviation Administration should replace words and phrases such as cockpit, unmanned aviation, and man-made with general neutral terms such as flight deck, uncrewed aviation, and machine-made, part of an effort to create a more welcoming environment. Okay. Because, see, why would that bother Dr. Rachel? More Americans now socially liberal than conservative for first time, the poll finds. Makes Dr. Rachel very happy and all the people in the Biden regime. According to Gallup's poll, which was conducted May 3 through 18, among 1,016 U.S. adults, 34% of adults now identify socially liberal and 30% as socially conservative. Though the largest share of respondents, 35%, hold moderate views. All right? Which I really didn't have time to delve into the questions and all of that, which means everything in a poll. Coca-Cola blocks transgender, the word transgender, on bottle customization tool that allows Nazis. You gotta love that, huh? That's just stupid all the way around. A new tool from Coca-Cola which allows people to personalize their own glass bottles has come under fire for censoring words such as transgender and lesbians, while allowing words such as fascism and at one point Nazis. So, Dr. Rachel is no longer drinking Coke, and Coke was so liberal for a while. Don't know what happened to him. Oh, wait a minute. Goodbye, Doc. I've had enough of you for the day. We've had enough of them, but again, Secular Democrats of America at seculardems.org on a computer or phone near you or other device. Please find out what this will explain so much to you. This makes perfect sense. The View co-host, Sunny Hostin, I don't know who she is. If she is a she, does she use the she pronoun? I don't know. Says her friends and family are buying guns to combat white supremacy. Now that's a good liberal, because obviously it's okay to get a gun to shoot a white supremacist. Why wouldn't that be fair? Rudy Giuliani suspended from practicing law in New York over false election claims. Rudy Giuliani has been suspended from practicing law in the state of New York due to his false statements about the 2020 election, according to a court filing. You say, well, that's what... This is what our country has come to. You say, I think Trump won. You can't even practice your livelihood. You can get fired. People have been fired. Rudy Giuliani, at one time considered one of the greatest Americans ever, because he thinks there's some voting irregularities, and he thinks, yeah, I think Trump won. I think the election was rigged, and I've got proof. He can't practice law. Ladies and gentlemen, this is wrong. It doesn't matter if Biden won by so many votes and Trump just went crazy. You should be able to say that. We're in trouble. They keep using the word democracy and they don't mean it. I mean, talk about Orwellian. They mean you have to agree with us or we're not being democratic. As we're going to show you later, as we delve into the idiocy, sickness, mental, and, well, not mental, it's physical sickness, obviously. I mean, the man's worn out. He's done. He's finished, Joe Biden. But the sickness of his heart. And I don't mean heart disease, not that type. I mean, we're in trouble. That's why I'm having a hard time being up. I mean, if I was a liberal, if we were like liberals, I'd be crawled up in the fetal position right now in a dark corner, crying, "Mama, Mama." My mom would have come in and kicked me. "Get up from there. What's wrong with you? We didn't raise any wimps." I mean, come on. So, no one will ever argue again unless Republicans win. Then Democrats will. Nothing will happen to them. A lot of people wish something would happen to her. And I'm not talking about on the conservative side. A liberal paper turns on VP Harris months after fawning praise of historic rise. The LA Times, very upset because she's not really doing anything that they can see that's helping getting the For the People Act. For the people. Good grief. Why not just name it the Let's All Be Happy Act? Make everybody cry. Yeah. No, they're upset with her between that and the border. I mean, this regime is doing all they can to ruin her. The people under Biden doing all they can to ruin her. I'm telling you, they're and it's okay. I don't care. But man, this is interesting. COVID is deadlier this year than all of 2020. Why do Americans think it's over? Not meaning more people are going to die because the deaths are going down, but the D variant, the Delta variant, is very deadly, they say. So, telling you, ladies and gentlemen, they will use this. If you're in a state that's prone to lockdown. Hello, John Kerry. Hadn't seen you in a while, sir. Oh, what a man. What a man. What a man. What a stately figure he casts. I'm not sure how he feels about this, because this is on one hand going to hurt his little world. U.S. bans imports of solar panel material from Chinese company because they are using slave labor. And, you know, it's like even the environment, we will risk the environment as long as you're not, if you're a white slave, who cares, right? And John is probably very upset over this. New York City just shut down a Tesla taxi fleet in favor of gas guzzlers. This is nobody understands this. And I realize it's not national, but it's just really weird. We've got other things we should be doing, but I wanted to bring it to you. It's okay. You know, breathe. Jeez, this is weird. This is weird stuff. Sorry, didn't mean to attack. I'm not Joe Biden. I won't shake my finger in your face. Oh, yeah, I will. I'm sorry. Tesla had partnered with the electric scooter startup Revel to launch a fleet of 50 Tesla Model Y taxis in the Big Apple, according to the New York Post. But the New York Taxi and Limousine Commission Commission blocked the companies from buying the necessary licenses for the vehicles on Tuesday, ruling that Tesla and Revel would need to buy the licenses for gas-burning vehicles instead. Like, what? Huh? Who? What? I mean, I told you, it makes no sense. According to the New York Post reporting, the commission voted 5-1 in that order for the fleet of Revel branded Teslas to hit the streets. The companies would need to purchase and license 50 internal combustion engine vehicles and then transfer those licenses to the electric Model Ys. You know, I'm just thinking somebody on there, some people on there get kickback from whoever makes yellow taxis or something. I don't know. It's not just Elon Musk who is baffled by the TLC's actions yesterday. Revel CEO Frank Ride told the New York Post after the announcement, rushing to vote on a rule change that keeps EVs, electric vehicles, off the streets and threatens jobs with no analysis on an election day 2 months ahead of a scheduled review raises a lot of questions. Yeah, so we have to go out and buy gas vehicles and then transfer the license. TLC Commissioner Alose Heredia Jarmos, I don't know. I apologize. I'm not trying. I really don't know how to pronounce a lot of these names. Said that it's nothing personal against Revell or Tesla or even against electric cars in general. Rather, the decision was based on preventing even more traffic in the city, something that companies like Uber and Lyft tend to make worse. However, it's not clear why the two types of cars would still be treated any differently. It's just not sustainable to allow an unlimited number of new vehicles on the road in a city that is all too familiar with the choke of traffic congestion, Heredia Jarmus said before voting at the Tuesday meeting. According to the New York Post, what we will not allow is the opportunity for another corporation, venture capitalist, or otherwise to flood our streets with additional cars. I'm totally confused on that. It's got to be some kickback somewhere. There's got to be something going. That's nuts. Even for New York liberals, that's nuts. Oil billionaire, God bless him, Harold Helm warns U.S. can't shut shale down while China and India continue to build coal plants. In other words, why do we have to suffer while they're doing all of that? Why can't we have our life? They have their life. All right, bye guys. We are going to have to move right into some Uncle Joe time. So let's ride a little train.
Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Petticoat Junction.
Sorry about that. Again, went too high up, grabbed the home screen. Sorry, won't hurt you, promise. One day, we'll have a proper studio, and we'll make great movies. Oh, wait a minute, we're just doing this. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, these two great men, Merrick Garland and President Joseph R. Biden Jr., got together to talk about how they're going to prevent crime, especially violent crime, and especially gun violence, which nobody knows what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. But these two brought to mind, although I'd rather have the two I'm about to show you running the country right now, depending on whose hands are up their bottoms. You might remember these two lovable Muppets. Yeah, what's their names? Astor and, what's the other guy's name? Good grief, and I'm a Muppet lover. Waldorf and Astor, yeah. And kind of reminded me of them. Forgive me for the mustache on one and the hairs on the wrong ones, but and these two are much more fun and a lot more spry than I'm telling you, getting stuck in a conversation between these two, you would just have to run screaming. But anyway, it made me think of them. I know it'd be better if it was Sanders and Biden. All right, so they got together to talk about crime. I'm not going to bore you with Merrick Garland, who we did the other day. This is bad enough. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just the stupid proposals that aren't going to do anything.
First, we just...
And it's not even that they're lying about so much rebranding the American Rescue Plan, because I don't care about that, all right? I mean, they're doing it, and it's wrong, and it's all lies, but okay. What really struck me, I mean, because a lot of this they're just going to do. What are you going to do? Just how, I mean, when this man was in Europe, he seemed a little more together. He has slowed down so much. It's really distressing. It's really sad. Between all the bad ideas and bad policies, this guy's in trouble. All right, let's see what we got here. What are we starting with? Oh, yeah. Blame it all on gun. This is just, so much of it's just, they're just reaching.
Cracking down, as you heard from the Attorney General, on rogue gun dealers. We know that if there is a strict enforcement of background checks, then fewer guns get into the hands of criminals. Background checks have thus far kept more than 3 million guns out of the hands of felons, convicted felons, fugitive, domestic abusers, and others prohibited from being able to purchase a gun. And there's still too many loopholes in that system. And today, enough rogue gun dealers feel like they can get away with selling guns to people who aren't legally allowed to own them. And I might add, the Second Amendment from the day it was passed limited the type of people who could own a gun and what type of weapon you could own. You couldn't buy a cannon. Those who say the blood of patriots, you know, and all this stuff about how we're going to have to move against the government. Well, the tree of liberty is not water with the blood of patriots. What's happened is that there never been, if you wanted to think you need to have weapons to take on the government, you need F-15s and maybe some nuclear weapons. The point is that there's always been the ability to rationally limit the type of weapon that can be owned.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you, sir?
First of all, and I know everybody's played that clip, but first of all, there's really not any loopholes in background checks. What they want private individuals to have to background check each other, and if you want to give your rifle to your son or daughter or thee or they or them, do theys and thems want a rifle or your handgun? You would have to do a background check on them. I mean, it's just ridiculous. They just make this stuff up and the media buys it. And the Second Amendment was written with the idea of limiting what you could buy. I mean, they didn't even think that way. Second Amendment was not about hunting. Good grief, people had to hunt. The majority of the country had to hunt. It's just, you could buy a cannon. There were no limits. There's no limits. They didn't keep people who got out of prison from having weapons. That's why they had the Second Amendment to guarantee. Now, I'm all for felons not getting weapons. I'm all for curtailing certain people from having them. You know, people that prove they'll violently use them in the wrong way. But he just lies. And, you know, maybe he thinks that. I don't know. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. He can't even get it out. It's not just that I mean, at least Obama could get up and lie to you and you'd think it was, hey, that might be the way it is. See how forcefully he said that? The tree of liberty is watered by the blood of patriots and their sacrifice. And then the staff had to be like, what is he saying? Buying F-15 nuclear weapons? Well, then why was everybody worried on January 6th? Why? We don't have F-15s and nuclear weapons. He's like the guy that says, you won't give up your guns, we'll nuke you. What public official idiot was that? What? Really? This is the guy that's up there talking to us? And everybody's listening to him like, oh yeah, hey, we salute you, Commander-in-Chief. I mean, really? What? Surprised he, should have been up taking a nap. I don't know. We'll just keep going. No, it doesn't get any better. He's even ashamed of it, trying to get away from it.
The last time we had data on this issue of who was purchasing guns was more than 20 years ago. 5% of gun dealers, turns out, in the study we did, showed that 90% of illegal guns were found at the crime scenes sold by 5% of gun dealers. 5% sold 90% of the guns found at crime scenes. And
Now, the key part of that, I remember, I'm old, but I'm still kind of together. I remember when they would use that study 20 years ago, and it made sense. Background checks hadn't been out that long, etc. 90% of it made sense. You still don't believe it all. 90% of the guns found at crime scenes across the country were sold by 5% of gun dealers. Okay, maybe so. But did you catch this? The data is from 20 years ago. They are basing everything they're doing. Most of his speech is based on data and the way things were 20 years ago. We have background checks. And much of what they're talking about, they already have authority to do. I'm telling you, just up there, spinning their wheels, and people going, oh, they're trying to help. And just lying. And you can't pick it up, really, through these clips. Some of them you can. But he's not doing good, ladies and gentlemen. You'd have to watch the whole thing. You just sit there and go, wow, man, what's wrong with him? How come he was so with it in Europe? Drugs. I'm telling you, they drugged him up. But it's hard on him. So here they don't do it as much. It's just 20-year data. And here's one, and I realize people can make mistakes and have a hard time speaking, but this isn't good, and we'll show you another one in a minute.
Police Chief Murray of the Baltimore, Police Chief Murphy, Paul of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, talked about how he's coordinating more closely with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the ATF, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI.
I mean, maybe they need the print bigger on, the teleprompter. Maybe they need to slow it down. I don't know how you would get it any slower. Maybe he needs glasses. I don't know. But he just met with these people, too. I mean, he I'm telling you, if you watch the whole thing, and, I'm not telling you to, because it's painful. But anyway, I mean, the guy's just not doing good. And I'm not just picking on common mistakes. People can trip over words. I do it enough.
We discussed historic funding. We discussed historic funding for states, cities, and counties, and tribes for law enforcement and crime prevention.
Again, if you watch the whole thing, you can really tell he's not speaking very well. He's moving very slow, but Again, historic. Everything they do is historic, which means they're spending, he says that like they're proud of it. We're spending more money than ever before. Why is that a good thing? I don't understand. This clip is a lot of fun. I've shook my head over this for a while now.
And here's another thing states, cities, counties, and tribes can do with that funding. When someone finishes their time in prison, we can't just continue to give them $25 on a bus ticket. They end up right back where they started and got them in trouble in the first place. Or no option for being able to provide for access to public housing, or for schools, or for mentors to help them find their way, and the stuff that prevents recidivism and helps them integrate into society.
Okay, first of all, I'm not sure, and I know people need a place to live when they get out of prison. I'm not sure letting them into public housing units is probably the best idea, where there are some that can be high crime anyway. And I do agree, it's tough getting out of prison. I don't know from personal experience, but you should get out, all of a sudden, hey, what do I do? Where do I go? How do I make a living? So yeah, there's things, and that's a tough call. We had a janitorial service once, and most businesses and households, they don't want someone who's been in prison in their on their property, because they're afraid they're going to steal from them, etc. And okay, but the part I want to get to, let's play it again. Their ideas, okay. I don't know, again, what to do with them all. They don't either. All right, so let's listen to the end of this. I hope it's the right one.
And here's another thing states, cities, counties, and tribes can do with that funding. When someone finishes their time in prison, we can't just continue to give them $25 on a bus ticket. They end up right back where they started and got them in trouble in the first place. Or no option for being able to provide for access to public housing, or for schools, or for mentors to help them find their way, and the stuff that prevents recidivism and helps them integrate into society.
That was really comprehensive. The stuff that prevents recidivism, the stuff. So they need housing, they need access to schools, they need mentors, and the stuff that keeps them from going back to prison. The stuff. He had writers that put that, and you can tell he's just barely, I don't even know if he understands what he's reading. Do you? And the stuff. Yeah, we're providing money for the stuff. What stuff? Well, the stuff they need to keep them from going back to prison. What stuff would that be? How do I know? I've never been to prison and didn't want to go back and needed stuff. Stuff? That's... If he talked like that to Putin, no wonder Putin's acting like he's doing now. Which we probably won't be able to get to today. If we can, we will. The stuff. He's up there. If Trump's up there just talking, on the other stuff they need, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But this guy's trying to give a structured statement. And that's what they came up with? The stuff? The stuff? They don't even know. See, they're saying, oh, we don't know what keeps somebody from going back to prison. Whatever stuff it is. I'm sure there's money in there for that. Whatever stuff. Good grief. I know, it's a small thing, but it's not. It's really not when you think about it.
For folks at home, the American Rescue Plan, which is a once-in-a-generation investment to reduce violence in America, is available.
See, that's just total rebranding. For the folks at home, the American Rescue Plan, which is a once-in-a-generation plan to stop violent crime, is available. What? What? I mean, first of all, I was like, what does that even mean? And the American Rescue Plan was not designed, nor was it sold as a plan to stop violent crime. Yes, there's some very small things in there, but now the American Rescue Plan, its whole purpose, I mean, it's really to rescue us. I know, I forgot Fontella again. I'll see if I can find her quickly. But now, the American Rescue Plan, its whole purpose was to rescue us from crime. I mean, this started yesterday and even in the day before in the press briefings and the way they talk, that the American Rescue Plan was all about crime. And it's not. Because the reporters were asking Jen, you're saying there's money for this, but how? Oh, no, it was always there. No, it wasn't. Money was to go to cities to help them continue to pay for city employees, and that included police and firefighters, although they didn't mention police that much. They said firefighters and other first responders. Now that crime's just shooting way up because of all these liberal places that won't let police enforce the law, and they keep changing the law so people can go in and steal and stay wherever they want and everything. Now they're saying, oh, this was to stop crime. I mean, just, I don't know. I mean, what do you call it? See, I look at it and I say, they're lying, ladies and gentlemen. I have no problem saying that because they are, and I was going to do another liar clip, but we'll just do this one because it's what I have. Of course, some of the press jump on it, but most people don't. I mean, the American Rescue Plan was what? It was a plan to get money to people to make them like Biden. That's what it was. It wasn't about crime. I mean, they won't even it. See, you don't have to do that. You don't have to go in and lie about everything. Why not just say, and we're looking in the money already allocated by the American Rescue Plan to help in this. And we think it's here and there and cities can use this and we're rewriting the things instead of saying that's what it was for when it wasn't. See, they're saying you're all stupid. You don't know what we did. I don't like it when Republicans do this. I don't like it when Democrats do this. It's just all a lie. And I mean, really, what? It doesn't have to be that way. But see, when you're liars, that's what you do. My wife and I have often, we've been around people, and it's like, why in the world did they lie? They didn't have to lie. They telling the truth would have made more sense. That's it. And here, Fontella.
Come on and rescue me. Come on, baby, and rescue me. Come on, baby, and rescue me.
Okay, the next time somebody's putting a gun in your back and wanting your money, as BTO would say, give me your money, please. Put up your hands and say, come on, Biden, and rescue me. Come on, Biden, and set me free. See if the guy drops a gun. Oh, so you're for Biden? Yeah, well, I'm not. Yeah, I'm under the American Rescue Plan, too. Yeah, all right. But no, very few reporters will say anything. But you know what? It's okay. And then we go back to the Second Amendment as he closes out, and he said this earlier in it, but
Talk to most responsible gun owners and hunters. They'll tell you there's no possible justification for having 100 rounds in a magazine of a gun. Like I said before, what do you think? The deer wearing Kevlar vest?
now we know why he didn't make it as a stand-up comedian. That was bad timing, wasn't it? The whole speech was bad timing. I mean, really. Just watching it all the way through, it depressed me. Besides what he's saying, it's like, this is the man that was over in Europe. This is the man that people pretend is in charge. Yeah, we need 100-round ammunition clips because you have F-15 jets and nuclear weapons. All we have is this. But no, the government can never be bad. And I am not supporting armed revolution but neither were the colonists for a while. Deer wearing Kevlar vests. Well, maybe you've got a lot of deer tags and you need to shoot plenty of them. A lot of them all at once. Anyway, so that was yesterday, after the crime summit. Probably already have enough saying, that's enough, Danny, stop it. Oh, no, we have today. Did I get that clip? Man. All right. So we'll play this. So long, can't buy me with your money. Unfortunately, he seems to be buying a lot of people with his money. And again, this was from yesterday's press briefing. We didn't have time to get it on the show. I didn't know this was going to happen today, but already they were setting the stage for what they were going to, and I've been telling you, they were setting the stage for what they were going to do. I've been saying, why are the Republicans negotiating? They're going to do it all anyway. Well, that was asked yesterday, and it's reinforced today.
On the meeting later today between Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and White House officials, what is the White House's message to them going to be with regard to the infrastructure talks? So you're going to insist on going down the bipartisan route, or is this going to be a decision point where they may sort of kick the tires and go ahead with reconciliation on that?
Well, we've always seen this for some time, I should say, not always, as a two-track strategy, right? So there are different discussions and negotiations happening today. One track, the American Jobs Plan, or big components of it, is a part of the infrastructure negotiations that we're discussing. Steve Ricchetti, Louisa Terrell, Brian Deese, right now with members who are part of that bipartisan discussion. Later tonight is a discussion that will also include Shalana Young, also include Susan Rice and others. That's a discussion in part about the budget reconciliation process, the second track. And that track will include the American Families Plan and components that are not a part of the negotiations. So we've been saying two tracks. Today is an example of two tracks actually moving forward at one time in one day.
So the Republicans go in and negotiate in good faith, which shows how stupid Republicans are. And they're saying, but whatever, we lose in negotiations, we're going to get back through budget reconciliation, where as long as all the Dems stay together, nobody can stop. So, but did that stop Republicans from continuing on? Oh, no. No. I hope this is it. I forgot it earlier. No, what happens? We have a deal. Biden declares victory on $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill, which is better than $3 trillion in something. But they're just going to get the rest of it. And of course, he came out and did a little talk and had remarks. And I know it's a tough day. Well, you should have listened to all of it yourself, and oh man, it's tough. It's tough. At least Trump was entertaining and usually giving you good ideas. All right, where are we starting at? The job. This is another one showing you he's not well, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this.
Raising their ideas and concerns with me and with the Vice President, as well as with our jobs cabinet. Secretary Buttigieg is here. Good to see you, Mr. Secretary. Secretary Fudge, Secretary Granholm, Secretary. There you go. Okay, I gotta make sure. I thought everybody was on this side. Secretary Raimondo and Secretary Walsh.
Secretary what? Secretary and then he didn't even. Do you see how small that group was? He didn't even know where everybody was. I mean, he couldn't just scan the room. Where'd they go? I mean, and again, things can happen in a crowd. Jim, where's Roger? Oh, there he is, way up. Look at this again. This is a very small group. And listen to him.
Raising their ideas and concerns with me and with the Vice President, as well as with our jobs cabinet. Secretary Buttigieg is here. Good to see you, Mr. Secretary. Secretary Fudge, Secretary Granholm, Secretary. There you go. Okay, I gotta make sure. I thought everybody was on this side. Secretary Raimondo and Secretary Walsh.
Secretary I mean, that's one of the highlights. I'm sorry. Doesn't get much better. Oh, is that the wrong one? Yes, that's the wrong one. Let's go here. Whoever puts these in order, you're fired. Oh, yeah, it's me. All right, here we go. He's just really happy.
Fair. We're going to do it all without raising a cent from earners below $400,000. There's no gas tax increase, no fee on electric vehicles. And the fact is, we're going to help ensure that we make sure that everybody in America is in a position to be able to do what need be done. And so let me be clear. We're in a race with China and the rest of the world for the 21st century.
And again, I'm glad they didn't raise the gas tax. There's enough revenue coming in from the gas tax to pay everything. I'm telling you. Just trust me on that. I mean, I know it took a hit last year, but so did everything else. I mean, electric people who drive electric vehicles, and they usually make more money than other people, they use the roads. There should be something on that if they're taxing us. But okay, all right. I'm never, hardly ever in favor of any new taxes. I'm glad they're not raising taxes on those that make under $400,000. They shouldn't do it on those who make over. Cut back some spending. But okay, all right. So, did you notice? He said, we're going to make sure everybody in America has what they need to do, what they need to do. What? And then let me be clear. He's not clear. Everybody, no, listen to it. I know I'm repeating and it's painful, but listen to this guy talk. What was he talking about?
Fair. We're going to do it all without raising a cent from earners below $400,000. There's no gas tax increase, no fee on electric vehicles. And the fact is, we're going to help ensure that we make sure that everybody in America is in a position to be able to do what need be done. And so
we're going to make sure everybody in America is in position to do what need be done? What What is he talking about? And then again, we're in this competition with China. You keep saying we've got to show democracies can do this. Democracies have led the world. Let them spend all their money doing all this stuff, and then their average person lives in poverty. Yeah, I tell people all the time, I've told you before, every administration since I can remember talks about the need to work on infrastructure. It's just the thing. Trump tried. He wanted to do it desperately. Desperately wanted to do it, however you want to say it. But you know what? Democrats didn't want him to do it because that would make him look good. And now, yeah, there's things that need to be done. But has nothing to do with China. I mean, hey, they're going to make sure we all are in a position to do what need to be done. Probably with all that stuff people need to stay out of prison. With just all the do what need to be done stuff and the stuff that people need to stay out of prison and whatever stuff. Because we're spending more money and we're proud of it, but you get all the stuff. Yeah, and do what need to be done. What? He doesn't even know what he means. Nobody does. His staff probably all looked at him like, what? What does that mean? I don't know. He just put it in there. Nobody knows.
Done. Both need to get done. I'm going to work closely with Speaker Pelosi and Leader Schumer to make sure that both move through the legislative process promptly and in tandem. Let me emphasize that. And in tandem. We need physical infrastructure, but we also need the human infrastructure as well. They were part of my overall plan. What we agreed on today is what we could agree on. The physical infrastructure. There was no agreement on the rest. We're going to have to do that through the budget process. Done. Both need to get done. I'm going to work closely with Speaker Pelosi and Leader Schumer to make sure that both move through the legislative process promptly and in tandem. Let me emphasize that.
They will both move through the legislative process. Again, you can misspeak, but both times, yesterday and today, that's all he's doing. And then he is going to North Carolina today. He's going to make more remarks. I mean, somebody needs, if you people care about your agenda, stop this man from talking. But anyway, what's he saying? Yeah, we did this, and I'm going to get the rest. And isn't calling people human infrastructure, isn't that calling us slaves? We're human infrastructure? He just called the whole country their slaves. Oh yeah, we're going to build on human infrastructure. I'm not a bridge. I'm not a road. I'm not a home health care worker who is part of the first infrastructure plan. Come on. But again, he's saying, they're pointing this out. They're making everybody know it. No, everything is going to get passed. Everything I want is going to get done. We're going to do it through budget reconciliation, which to do it through that Republicans have done it, some Democrats. You say, I don't even know what that is. Okay, they work and they pass the budget. The House passes the budget, and then the Senate passes their version of the budget. All right, so they go through committees and do all that. Well, what they're doing, they're not putting this plan really through budgeting, the American Families Plan and the rest of the American Jobs Plan that the GOP thinks, oh, we knocked it down to this much. You idiots. What is wrong with you? Of course, Romney was one of them, so you know what was wrong with them to begin with. No, I don't like Romney, and neither should you. I don't even know if he's a fine person to go out to lunch with. How do I know? He used to put his dog in a carrier on top of his station wagon when they took family vacations. He's horrible. No, he's you can't trust Romney. You know, I don't know a lot about the Mormon religion, but I think lying is probably against their religion. And he's a liar and a deceiver. Don't like him at all. Anyway, and this show's not about him, so I must move on. But what they're saying, the budget reconciliation process, so after each house passes their budget, so they don't have to go through the whole thing again. They put it together and have a committee from each to say, okay, we can go along with this, we can go along with that. And they get them together. Then the House votes on that, just a simple majority basis, because they've already overall, gone through the main plan. So it's like, okay, there's some changes. And then the Senate goes through and votes on a simple majority basis, which if all the Democrats stick to it, with Kamala Harris coming in and casting the tie-breaking vote, they get it. So he's saying, no, this is going through. And I won't even sign one unless both are done. And I'm thinking, good, don't get either one of them done. It's too much money. It's going to be over $6 trillion. Just the budget plan through reconciliation is already estimated to be $6 trillion. So now you add another trillion, almost $2 trillion onto that. So you're up to $8 trillion. Plus whatever else they're going to do, and not counting the American Rescue Plan, which was $2 trillion. So you're already at the $10 trillion they wanted to spend this year. I told you in the beginning, they're shooting to spend $10 trillion, and that doesn't count what they want to spend overseas. And what they're already spending off the books to cover their immigration, their border mess. All right, so here we have again another one where it's a question. And you think, yeah, that's what we're going to do. What are you going to do? Sue us, Yeah, that's what we're going to do. All right. Or is this a question? No. Okay.
Do you support then Speaker Pelosi's stated plan to hold the bipartisan deal in the House until the Senate also passes reconciliation? Do you support that sequencing on her part?
Yes.
But Mr. President,
Mr. President.
on the same page about the reconciliation package. So by moving forward with this two-track system, are you putting the bipartisan bill in jeopardy?
Sure, the bipartisan bill was, look, the bipartisan bill from the very beginning was understood there's going to have to be the second part of it. I'm not just signing the bipartisan bill and forgetting about the rest that I proposed. I proposed a significant piece of legislation in 3 parts. And all 3 parts are equally important. And by the way, my party...
Did you get that? So Pelosi is, if this passes in the Senate, this deal passes in the Senate, Pelosi won't even let it come up to the House until everything they want has gone through the budget reconciliation process and they have all that they want, and then the House will vote on this program and it'll all come together, etc. See, they're going to get everything. Of course, you ask, oh, do you think that's going to hurt bipartisanship? Well, sure. But I was always going to I've got 3 packages. I want them all. And we can do it. See, this is all a sham. And he even said once, well, the deputy press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, whom we would hear from, but I cut her out because I knew it'd be long, said, well, the American people wanted to see some bipartisanship. That's one reason why they voted in old Uncle Joe's, because they knew he could do it. So they had to do something where everybody works together and it makes them look good, but then they're going to do whatever they want. It's a sham. It's a lie. And one of the reporters in the press gaggle on Air Force One with Deputy Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, the history-making lesbian, that's what she even says it. I mean, they're proud of their town.
Future. Sure. President Biden said he conceded or gave up a lot in this bill, but technically he's still going for everything else in the reconciliation bill. So did he really give up anything?
Well, let me just say this. This is start by...
See, the reporter got it. He talks about compromising, giving up. Did he give up anything? Because they're going to get it all back in reconciliation. And you've got these 10 Republicans saying, we won, we did it. And there's people voting for them and want them in office to represent them. And they're that stupid or naive. Something. All right. I mean, he doesn't even have any problem admitting it. Yeah, it doesn't matter. This is just the game, but we're going to get everything we want and more. We're going to spend so much money, even liberals, or their heads are going to spin. Of course, progressives are all upset saying, he's letting us down. He should have already spent 80 trillion, excuse me. And Senator Warren, I forgot to put that in. Where'd that go? She's holding up one of his own nominees for Deputy Secretary of Education because she's going to hold it up until they cancel $50,000 of student loan debt for everybody that has student loan money. Yeah. I mean, they want more money. What are we doing? Okay, we have this on the voting issue, and you got to hear this. I mean, everything they do is dishonest. It's horrible. It's horrible. This is who they are.
What about voting rights? Voting rights is maybe the most consequential thing. I think I'm going to be going around the country, spending time making the case to the American people that this just isn't about showing an identification that this is who I am when I vote. This isn't just about whether or not, you can provide water for someone standing in line while they're waiting to vote. This is about who gets to judge whether your vote counted after it's been cast. Think about it. Up to now, every state and the federal government has assumed that there would be officials who were appointed and or elected in states where the election commissioners bound by an oath that they would uphold certain requirements to make sure the vote was honest and fair. What these guys are trying to do now, in rough approximation, is say that if we don't like the way the vote turned out and we control the state legislature, we're going to say the vote didn't count. And we're going to recount. That's never happened before. It's wrong. Who in God's name, as my mother would say, died and left them boss? Your vote has to count when you cast it. There's a lot of ancillary pieces of this legislation I strongly support. I strongly support the idea that if I had my way, there'd be no private contributions to see who gets elected, how much money you raise. If I had my way, and I think it's really important that every election day would be a day off because people who work certain shifts can't make it to the election. I would make sure there's automatic registration when you turn 18. That's what I think everybody thinks this fight is about. It's a worthy fight, but it's much more profound than that. It's about saying that the legislature in Georgia could decide, if it's a Republican legislature, on reflection, we don't think that election was fair. We're going to vote to say it didn't count. It's just simply wrong. It's wrong. And in my view, it borders on being immoral. This is the sacred right to vote. As John Lewis said, it is the most important right you have. And so I'm going to be making the case across the country.
Okay, so they found out most people, 80% of the country favors voter ID. All right, so they're backing off on that. They found out people are like, so you stand in line, you can bring your own water. People shouldn't be able to give you water. I mean, if they don't, it's okay one way or the other. Bring your own water. Bring your own snacks, Eat some of your kids' puffs or something. Yeah, come on. And of course, so many things, and I'm running out of time. But what he's saying is a lie. See, he didn't bring up, he's talking about federally funding campaigns. That's part of the For the People Act. Yeah, which the money will go to incumbents, not people rising up against them. But he didn't talk about all the private money that went to different voting precincts so they could set up to run it certain ways. Private money from liberal groups funded a lot of voting precincts. And a lot of states said, no, we give them money. Why did they need money? Where did that money go? What did it do? And the reason the state legislator stepped in and saying, there are precinct commissioners making decisions that affect the whole country. They're stopping the voting, and we can't do anything about it because of the way we wrote our laws. And law and voting is vested in the states, not the national government. And so the legislators say, hey, wait a minute, we got to be able to look into these things. We got to be able to send somebody to stop what's going on, to say, oh, we're not going to count anymore. And then they find these boxes of ballots the next day. Oh, we forgot to count these. There's a lot wrong. And do they bring any of that up? No, none of that was a problem. That would have only been a problem if Trump had won. So don't listen to them. All right, and this is just interesting. We're almost done anyway. At the end of his talk, he's walking by. They're still asking him some questions on Afghanistan. And if you live in Guam, get ready. Afghan refugees are coming to a house near you, because that's where they're talking about dropping them off. So, but listen carefully. It's at the end. He's already walking off, but they don't want any more questions. Listen to this.
Thank you, sir. Any more?
That's enough.
It's really hard to hear, but one of his people at the end says, that's enough. And doesn't say it nice, because they're still asking questions. I'll see. I mean, you have to turn up your phone or whatever very loud to get it.
Thank you, sir. Any more?
That's enough.
It's kind of off mic, but they say that's enough. And they're not happy. They didn't like all that. All right. So I told you a lot of Biden. Didn't get to some other things, which we will do tomorrow as time allows. Really, if you can make yourself do it, go and listen to his full remarks. Not so much to hear what he's saying, but hear how he's saying it. He's really in bad shape. He's really not doing good right now. All right, some God formation. Who died and left the legislature boss of voting? The Constitution. The Constitution. Only it's not dead, is it? Didn't the Bill of Rights just have a birthday or something? All right, where are we? The ability of Biden to mess anything up is renowned, or so they say, because, I mean, he so badly messed up that crime talk. I mean, that was sad. They make fun of him in the halls, and yet they hang their heads and wonder what will become of them all. They know that he will never make it the full 4 years, and there is little hope in the halls. They're already, I mean, Europe was an exception, ladies and gentlemen, and the drugs they gave that man, I mean, and I'm sure they were all legal. That's not what I'm saying. But he's paying for it now. They call Susan Rice, and you heard Jen getting confused on all the people talking about Susan Rice meeting with people on the reconciliation process. They call Susan Rice Madam President when no one is around. She is the power in the House. She is not in charge, though, only a facilitator of those that tell her what to do, but she's the power there, which her and Kamala are not getting along, because Kamala thinks she should be the power. It's just, that woman needs to resign and go, I'm telling you. There are many that are afraid that they will be out of a job soon, as they really expect Biden to be gone soon himself. And these talks didn't help them. The medical answers are just not enough, and many are worried because they know Harris will bring in an entirely different group. Some are already calling for ideas on new jobs. So, well, don't go and work for someone that's not mentally, and he's not mentally incompetent. He has some physical problems there. I mean, the man's sick, and his heart's sick. I know that. I know that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it. Again, I'm sorry for boring you with the thief in chief all day. A lot more stuff going on, and we'll get to it, but I know it's sad. If you'd like to help us with the production, as you can tell, the only commercial we have, other than Taco Bell every now and then, is the Secular Dems of America. Neither one of them are giving us a dime. Yeah, probably surprising. Anyway, and Coke's not going to give us any money now either. If you'd like to help us, you can Venmo us, Danny-Thompson-02380. God bless you. Thanks for watching. Of course, you don't have to do this, just if you want to. But will you please share the program? Will you please tell somebody to watch it and get it out there? Not for me, but so people know what's going on. Pray for the country. Make your voice heard. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and I do mean that. Thank you for watching.